Why? Like, seriously, why? Why did Melissa Barrera have to get fired? Why did Jenna Ortega quit? Why did Kevin Williamson have to direct this movie? Why did this movie even have to be made? Let's talk about it. What's going on? It's Trey here. Since you found me, you might as well do me a favor and like and subscribe for more content. Today, we're going to be talking about Scream 7, one of my most anticipated movies of the year. And if you haven't seen my most anticipated list, I'm going to leave it on the video right here. You can go ahead, click that out and check it out and see what other movies I have on my list as well. So we have in Scream 7 that's directed by Kevin Williamson. And if you're not familiar with Kevin Williamson was one of the original writers, along with Wes Craven, that brought us the original Scream from 1996. So pretty much the plot of this movie, a new Ghostface killer emerges in the town that Cindy now calls home. She thought she was safe and free after she had built her new life, only to realize that now her daughter is Ghostface's next target. So my first reactions while sitting down watching Scream 7 for the first time, the opening scene of Scream 7 follows the classic formula of the originals. This time we start with a couple heading into the infamous Stumacher house, the same location tied to the original Woodsboro murders. And here you already know what time it is. It's the traditional open kill setup, but here's the thing.
But wait! There's more!
The tone of this opening felt a little goofy to me. It didn't carry the same dread and tension that some of the best Scream openings have had. It wasn't bad, don't get me wrong, but it didn't hit like 1, 2, and 6. The fear factor just wasn't fully there. But shortly after the opening scene, we are introduced to Tatum and Sidney Prescott. Tatum is Sidney's daughter, now in high school, and at this moment, I realized that this movie was trying to set into a legacy upon legacy storyline. And at first, I was open to the idea. So, starting out what works for me, the performances are solid. Neve, Campbell as Sidney Prescott, she went all in. Again, she embodied Sidney like she never left. You can feel the trauma, the strength, and the maternal instinct. I mean, all of it. She doesn't just fall this in. She commits all the way. Isabel May as Tatum, she did well too. She plays vulnerable without being helpless. And you can see the setup for her possibly carrying something forward. The Meek twins also return, Mindy and Chad. They still bring that core 4 energy, but without the core 4. Even without the Carpenter sisters, it was still nice to see familiar faces holding it down. And Courteney Cox as Gail Weathers, she's still sharp, still witty, still no nonsense. She feels like she belongs in this world. And when she's on screen, it works. Moving on to Kevin Williamson's direction in this film, it works as well. From the first time I heard that Kevin Williamson was coming to direct this, it was a clever concept. He leans into nostalgia, but at the same time, he also tries to honor what Scream 5 and 6 already built. Now, the tone in this film is a little bit lighter than Scream 5 and 6. It's not as dark, but it's somewhat dark to keep you on the edge, somewhat. Another thing that works in this film is the horror and action. From the very first act, this movie doesn't waste any time. The madness starts early. Sidney is in full mama bear mode trying to protect her daughter the whole movie, and I was enjoying that. And the kills? Man, creative, brutal, and bloody. Yes, it's mainly still knife kills, but Ghostface is chopping people up in this one. You can see that there's real aggression behind the attacks. And I also like that we had a little bit more hand-to-hand combat thrown in as well with the knife attacks. Ghostface isn't just popping up and stabbing. There are physical fights, grappling moments, and all that as well. And one thing I also really appreciated that we actually got chase sequences from Ghostface in this film, as well as Ghostface actually uses his cloak to blend in certain environments in the film. He's hiding in shadows, using lighting, being stealthy instead of just appearing dramatic. He felt more like a hunter stalking prey, and that aspect was done really well. Now, moving on to what doesn't work for me. Now, here's where everything starts to fall apart. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. The missing characters is first. The absence of the Carpenter sisters, to me, it felt heavy. Personally, I think the franchise should have continued around them. That was the natural evolution. And me personally, I didn't necessarily need Sidney again. I was invested in Sam, Tara, and the core four, and that felt fresh. And honestly, this just feels like a pivot back instead of a forward motion. Also, what doesn't work is the pacing. And to me, this movie feels like it's been rewritten while the movie was going on. There are moments when the story feels like it's building towards something, and then it just suddenly awkwardly shifts. It's just that some scenes felt like it was rewritten during production to fit a new direction. The pacing also drags in areas that it shouldn't, especially for this to be a slasher horror film. This is horror. It should move. Instead, certain stretches feel padded. Also, this movie just has too much nostalgia overload. For me, you can tell this movie was trying all it could to win back fans. Bringing back legacy characters, revisiting old locations, playing heavy on callbacks. I mean, this movie feels desperate at times. It's like they weren't sure if the new direction would land. So instead, they just double down on nostalgia. And for me, that doesn't work. And also, there are moments where tension builds, the stakes feel high, and then it just gets undercut by a joke. And sometimes those comedic moments drain that moment instead of balancing. That's always been parts of Scream's DNA, but here it just felt more disruptive. And last, the third act, trash. The motive, weak. The reveal, hell, underwhelming. And the final battle did not hit emotion. Hell, it didn't hit at all. To me, it just felt like same old, same old. You have Ghostface, a motive that's barely a motive, the final confrontation, and a setup for another sequel. And I'm sitting here thinking, why? Like, seriously, why? Why did Melissa Barrera have to get fired? Why did Jenna Ortega quit? Why did Kevin Williamson have to direct this movie? Why did this movie even have to be made? To me, this felt like a cash grab. After Scream 6, they was in a perfect position to just close the book. The core four survived, Sidney Prescott had her happy ending, and it could have just ended clean. But instead, the franchise pivoted because behind the scene decisions, and it shows. But my overall thoughts for Scream 7, I'm not gonna sugarcoat. This felt unnecessary. Scream 1, Scream 2, Scream 4, 5, and 6 were all great. And this feels like a step backwards. And where I rank this among the rest of them, to me, Scream 3 is the weakest. But this here is right there with neck and neck. That should tell you enough. And it sucks because I was highly anticipating this movie for 2026. And I walked out disappointed. Low-key ready to throw hands with somebody. And honestly, maybe it's just time to let Ghostface rest. But I would have to give Scream 7 a 6 out of 10 with no hesitation. There are solid performances, some strong kills, and some good Ghostface moments. But the pacing, the motive, nostalgia overload, and the weak third act hold it back. This one just didn't work for me, dog.
It's definitely a no for me, dog.
So, if you made it to this far in the video, I greatly appreciate it. But let me know in the comment below what you think of Scream 7. And if you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe on your way out. It greatly helps the channel. And be sure to follow for any more movie news, reviews, or anything of that nature, because it's possible. If you've seen it, I've seen it too.